In the heart of every civilization lies its art, the silent yet powerful voice that speaks beyond time and space. It reflects the values, struggles, and soul of a people. For the Muslim world, art has never been just a form of decoration or entertainment. It has been a powerful tool of memory, resistance, and expression, preserving the essence of faith and challenging the forces that sought to silence it. The rich tapestry of Muslim art is not just a reflection of aesthetics, but a reflection of the deeper truths that have shaped societies for centuries. From the intricate calligraphy of the Quran to the majestic architecture of mosques, the delicate strokes of a painting to the haunting melodies of traditional music, every form of art has carried the weight of a culture's values, ethics, and historical narratives. It has been a vessel for truth, carrying the message of justice and morality across generations, often against the tide of oppressive forces. In the medieval period, during times of great persecution and political strife, Muslim artists were not merely creators of beauty. They were custodians of the truth, carrying the weight of their faith in a world that often sought to silence them. When rulers imposed harsh laws, and when cultural expressions were censored or destroyed, artists found ways to speak truth through their work. Every piece of art, whether in the form of poetry, sculpture, or painted tiles, was imbued with an ethical message, an unyielding reminder of the human spirit's resilience in the face of tyranny. One of the most striking examples of this is found in the world of Islamic calligraphy. The beauty of the Arabic script was not merely for ornamental purposes. The flowing lines and intricate designs were vehicles for the divine word, each letter and stroke crafted with reverence for the faith. It was a silent yet powerful protest against illiteracy and oppression, ensuring that knowledge, particularly the teachings of Islam, would endure despite external efforts to suppress it. Similarly, the art of storytelling in the Muslim world has always carried an underlying message of justice and moral duty. The stories of the prophets, the righteous, and even those who stood against the forces of injustice were passed down through generations, often hidden in plain sight. Whether through the epic poetry of Rumi or the folk tales shared by grandmothers under the moonlight, these stories served as a constant reminder of what was right and what was wrong. They were, and still are, a beacon of hope for those who are oppressed. It was in the darkest corners of history, when political oppression and censorship ran rampant, that Muslim artists rose to the occasion. They used their art as a form of resistance, a way to reclaim their narrative from those who sought to rewrite history. In a time when books were burned and voices silenced, the Quran's verses were etched in the walls of mosques, its teachings were passed through the melodies of music, and its stories were shared through art. Even when the external forces of colonialism, dictatorship, and political regimes sought to crush the spirit of the people, the pulse of Islam remained alive in the art that endured. In the face of oppression, art also became an act of defiance. It was not just the preservation of beauty, but a direct confrontation with injustice. Islamic art, in its varied forms, was a counterpoint to the world's ugliness and hatred. Its colors, lines, and patterns embodied a message of peace, justice, and unity, challenging the social norms of the time. It spoke directly to power, questioning the established order and calling for accountability. Whether it was through the vibrant frescoes of the Andalusian period or the poetic verses of the Islamic Golden Age, art carried with it the moral voice of a society that refused to be silenced. The music of the Muslim world, too, has been a powerful force for change. In many parts of the world, music was banned or censored for its perceived threat to political stability. But even in the face of censorship, Muslim musicians found ways to weave their message into their compositions. Their instruments became their voices, and their melodies became their protests. Music for them was not just entertainment, it was an expression of their resistance, a form of art that carried the weight of social justice, cultural identity, and a deep connection to the divine. Muslim art is not just a historical artifact. It is living, breathing evidence of the resilience of a people who have faced oppression and yet continue to fight through their expressions. It is through art that Muslims have preserved their heritage, told their stories, and created a space for future generations to reflect on their identity. And it is through this cultural expression that Muslims have, time and again, spoken truth to power, even when the world sought to erase their voice. In the modern world, as the Muslim community faces new challenges, from political marginalization to cultural erasure, the role of art remains as vital as ever. Just as it did centuries ago, art continues to be a form of resistance. It challenges the distorted narratives about Muslims, giving voice to the marginalized and pushing back against the false portrayals of the Muslim world. It reminds us that even in the face of adversity, the power of art can transcend time and space, preserving faith, challenging injustice, and inspiring unity. When we lose our cultural production, we lose our narrative. We lose our ability to shape the story of who we are. In today's world, where stereotypes and misrepresentations abound, the importance of cultural production cannot be overstated. The Muslim world must reclaim its narrative through the arts, preserving its values, its stories, and its faith for future generations. But it is not just about reclaiming a narrative, it is about inspiring creative agency. Art, in all its forms, has the power to spark imagination, to challenge us to think critically about the world, and to inspire us to act. When we look at the art produced in the Muslim world throughout history, we are reminded that we are all part of a larger story, one that transcends time, geography, and politics. It is a story of faith, resistance, and resilience. Through art, Muslims have not only preserved their heritage but have also contributed to the global conversation on ethics, justice, and human dignity. The vibrant traditions of calligraphy, architecture, music, and storytelling have shaped the world we live in today. The values of justice, mercy, and unity that are embedded in the Islamic tradition continue to find expression in contemporary Muslim art. In the end, art is not just about aesthetics. It is a reflection of who we are, what we believe, and what we stand for. It is a way to connect our faith with our actions, to bridge the gap between what we believe and how we live. It challenges us to reflect on our responsibility to the world and to each other, inspiring us to act with integrity, ethics, and beauty. The Muslim world has always had a rich tradition of art that speaks truth to power, preserves faith, and challenges injustice. It is through art that we can continue to reclaim our narrative, challenge distorted perceptions, and inspire future generations to live with responsibility, unity, and creative agency. Through the power of art, we reconnect faith with action, ethics, and beauty.